Hello there and welcome to another Guild Wars 2 video, and we're going to have a look at the down state. So in Guild Wars 2, when you die, you don't actually die, you just fall over and you get a second chance to get back into the fight or get picked up by a friend with revive. And when you enter this down state, you get a bunch of different abilities. And there are different abilities depending on whether you're drowning or you've fallen over on land. And so I just thought it'd be good to have a quick look at each of these abilities, because I don't know if you're anything like me, but when you fall over it can be a little bit confusing the first few times. You might not know exactly what each of these new abilities you've got actually does. So we're going to go through them all one by one, starting with the Universal Bandage ability. And so everyone has this. It's there at the end of the action bar on the right, and it doesn't matter if you're drowning or you're down on the ground. You always have this ability. It's got a 5-second cooldown, and what it does is it calls your allies for help and restores health while you channel it. So that's just kind of trying to keep you alive a little bit longer. Anyway, moving on, we'll start things off with the professions, with the Guardian. And so, firstly, in the down state, the Guardian has Wrath, which focuses a wrathful light ray on your foe. And now, this is like the basic attack ability in the down state. Everyone has an ability that they can just spam, which is the first ability, number 1, and it just changes from class to class. Just to give the profession, sorry, it just changes between the professions for flavour, really. So that's that one for the Guardian. Moving on, we've got Wave of Light, which pushes nearby foes back and is on a 15-second cooldown. The third one we've got is Symbol of Judgment, and that draws a symbol on the ground that heals allies and damages foes. And that's on a 20-second cooldown. And then the drown state. So these are the moves that you get while you're underwater and you're drowning. You've lost all your health. You'll get an alert that you need to swim to the surface. But the moves that you get are Shackle. Again, this is the basic attack, and it shackles your foe to cripple them. Reveal the Depths, that's got a 5-second cooldown, and it simply says damage foes in an area that grows larger. Okay, moving on, we've got Renewing the Current, that's on a 15-second cooldown, and you escape up towards the surface. Next we have the Warrior, and the first attack move in the down state is Throw Rock, which simply throws a rock at your target. The second one is Hammer Toss on a 10-second cooldown. Throw a hammer that knocks down foes. The third one we've got is Vengeance, that's on a 20-second cooldown, and you simply rally and fight normally for a brief time. When the rally ends, you are defeated. And that's on a 20-second cooldown. So basically that's, you get up off the ground for a little bit and you can get back into the fight for a short duration. When you're drowning, you can punch your foe, and that's on a 1-second cooldown. Second move is Kick, that's on a 5-second cooldown. You push your foe back with a kick, and then Vengeance again on a 20-second cooldown again, and you rally and fight normally for a brief time again. So this is an example of sometimes between the downed and the drowned state, the classes have the same abilities shared across both states. I think in some cases the professions actually have both the same, depending on what profession it is. I think the Mesmer has actually literally all the moves the same. So anyway, moving on, we've got the Engineer, and when the Engineer is down, he can throw junk, and that throws a bit of junk and inflicts a random condition on your foe. The second one is the Grappling Line on a 10-second cooldown, and you throw out a grappling line to pull your foe to you. The third one is Booby Trap, that's on a 20-second cooldown, and you set off an explosive booby trap, damaging nearby foes. When you're drowning, you have Floating Mine, throw out a mine that explodes on impact. Anchor, which is on a 10-second cooldown and sinks your foe. The third one is Buoy, that's on a 15-second cooldown, and you inflate a buoy, floating more quickly to the surface, so that's quite nice. You get to the surface more quickly with that one. And now moving on to the Ranger, we've got Throw Dirt, throw a handful of dirt to bleed your foe. The second one is Thunderclap, which is on a 10-second cooldown, damages your target and dazes foes around that target. Number 3 is Lick Wounds. That's on a 20-second cooldown, and you revive your pet at your location to revive you. So your pet gets up to actually revive you. That's pretty nice. When you're drowning, you can throw knife, which simply throws a knife at your foe. You have Thunderclap again on a 10-second cooldown again, and Lick Wounds again on a 20-second cooldown again. And moving on to the Thief, we've got Trail of Knives. Throw a knife that bounces off nearby foes, crippling them. Second one we've got is Shadow Escape. That's on a 10-second cooldown. Teleport to the target location, so you get a little targeting reticule, and you can move your downed body to a different location, which is pretty nice. You can get to a safer area where there's less AoE, so people can get you up off the ground. It's quite nice. Then we've got Smoke Bomb. Drop a smoke bomb and vanish in stealth. So I guess that's really nice in PvP. You can kind of disappear from the fight almost. And that's on a 20-second cooldown. When you're drowning, you get Diving Knife, which throws a knife at your foe, bleeding them. Cheap Shot, that's on a 5-second cooldown. Knock back your foe with a kick. Vanish in the Deep, 20-second cooldown, and that simply allows you to vanish into the depths. The Elementalist has Discharge Lightning, which blasts your foe with lightning. Grasping Earth, that's on a 10-second cooldown, and you immobilize your foe with hands erupting from the ground. Vapor Form, 20-second cooldown. Assume a mobile vaporous form, returning to a down state when the effect ends. That's on a 20-second cooldown. When you're drowning, you have Water Fist. Throws a punch of concentrated water. That's kind of cool. Number 2 is Stone Kick on a 6-second cooldown. Wrap your foot in stone and kick your foe. Number 3 is Steam Vent on a 15-second cooldown. Float to the surface on a burst of steam, blinding and burning enemies. The Mesmer. In the down state you have Mind Blast, which creates an explosion of magical energy confusing your foe. The second one is Deception on a 10-second cooldown, and you create a down clone of yourself. Number 3 is the Phantasmal Rogue on a 20-second cooldown. That summons a Phantasmal Rogue that deals double damage from behind. And when you're drowning, you have exactly the same stuff. There doesn't really seem to be a need to have any different moves for underwater because it's all kind of magical. The Necromancer. In the down state, you have Life Leech, so you literally leech a foe's health to heal yourself. So that's a pretty nice spammable ability to have when you're downed. Literally, you could just revive yourself almost. Number 2 is Fear. On a 10-second cooldown, make your foe flee in fear, so you can literally fear people while you're lying on the ground. Number 3 is Fetid Ground. That's on a 20-second cooldown. Create a fetid ground which damages and poisons foes. And when you're drowning, you have again Life Leech. But then the second ability is Feeding Frenzy. That's on a 15-second cooldown, and you summon a school of undead fish to attack your foe, which to me that just sounds amazing. That's awesome. Number 3 is Death Curse. No cooldown. Poison yourself and your foe. So you can, I guess, sort of sacrifice your own life in an ability to bring your enemy down with you. And so that's it. And what you could probably tell from looking at this is that most of the professions have basically all the same stuff, but they happen in different ways. You know, a lot of people have a move that will let them get back into the fight, or help them get up to the surface more quickly. Some of them are pretty unique and special. But I think they've tried to sort of make it quite similar so that people can get to grips with it easily. Because you're not all the time down on the ground. It does happen quite often if you're in a dangerous situation. But this way it's just a lot easier to remember, and the similarities between the downed and the drowned state are pretty apparent as well. You know, they're not hugely different, it's just kind of flavour stuff. Anyway guys, thanks once again for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to be notified about future videos, and leave any comments you have for us in the comments section below. So yeah, we will see you again next time. Bye bye.